heading out to the farm again this weekend. It's our weekend off, so we're going to go and do a little bit of camping. That's what we enjoy doing. Got my brother joining us this weekend. He's started to come camp a lot more with us now. So it's a bit late as normal. If we leave on a Friday, we leave after work. So we got to wait for the missus to get off work. And then we hit the road. Luckily, this spot is not far from us. We got about an hour of driving, hour and a bit depending on traffic. I take it slow with the trailer. I don't tend to drive too fast. It's just not safe. Especially now with the new suspension on the vehicle, the TJMXGS suspension we've put on. I've got to be extremely careful how I drive when I'm towing, because inside the vehicle you don't feel anything, and then the trailer is bouncing all over the place behind me. So it's taken a while to get used to, especially now as well. I've changed and I've gone to a less hard tire. We've moved from a 3-ply sidewall down to a 2-ply sidewall. We've kept the LT rating, so it's still a light truck tire. However, it's no longer as hard. With a softer sidewall now, we've got a way more comfortable drive. I recently put some Tyre firmers on. It's an import tire. It's not bad. I suspect they are being replaced by another brand called Patriot, but I'm not complaining. A tire's a tire. It's all round. It does kind of the same thing. We've got some fun and games ahead of us here. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, they're busy recovering this oak. Don't know what he's fucking doing, but anyway, let's get out of here. Right, never a dull moment. So I've moved away from the Mickey Thompsons purely because they are reaching the end of their serviceable life. Tires at probably about 40 to 50% wear in the front and about 60-65% in the back. However, they were getting on in the years, not necessarily the mileage and the wear. So I try not to keep a tire on my vehicle for more than 3-4 years. So we'll see how the Tyre firmers do. I'm happy with them so far. Haven't done a lot with them, but they do drive nicely. Zero road noise. What I can say is they do very well in the wet. That recent rain we had here in KZN, specifically Durban, Pinetown, I was out and about doing some recoveries and they performed exceptionally well on the tar in the rain. Nonetheless, we'll see you when we get to camp. Just been treated to such a lacquer sunset as we dip down into the valley now. It is a bit cold. It's probably about 10 degrees, so those of you who don't stay in the coastal region of KZN, it's probably not that cold for you, but for those of us who live next to the sea, it's cold. Anything below 10 is generally considered freezing for those of us who stay in Durban. Righto, so we are here at camp. As you can see, Elati is going mad because he slept for 45 minutes on the way here. So fun and games with the parents tonight. A couple of things have changed in our camp setup. Let me show you. So one of the main things that have changed is my brother joining us. He's got a bunch of different camping tents. So he's got an Oz Tent RV1, which is a bit of a schlep to drag around. So we've got him this recently. This is a First Ascent Starlight 2. It's a hiking tent. A hiking tent which folds up and fits into an ammo box. It's really cool. The range has pretty much stayed the same, bar a few things which we'll chat about later. Mommy's lighting the donkey, my boy, so we can have a hot shower just now. We are the only ones here. There's not another soul here. You can go. Do you want to take my headlamp? There we go. It's not going to fit your head, Pumpkin. Try, but it's not going to fit nicely. It's going to be too big, so you hold it like a normal torch. Off you go. Ready. So, this is what I love about camping. Cheerio, chappy. That Lighty at home will not walk from his room to the toilet at night. But here, we're camping in the middle of the bush, and he will walk from our camp 100 meters in the dark with the headlamp to go look for his mother who's lighting the donkey. So yeah, the range has more or less stayed the same. It is what it is. A couple of things that have changed on it. We'll go through it in depth later. Suspension and tires. Let's go check out this tent quickly. So that's how we go in. His setup is basically what you see here. He's got a memory foam roll-up mattress, a couple of different layers, a good sleeping bag. Everything fits into that box and this bag. So that is the front runner Wolfpack ammo box. He's got a bag. I lend him my Flexo Power lithium portable battery, so you can charge phones, have lights inside here, and run a fan. Plenty space. The trailer's a bit of a mess, but plenty space inside here. Here's our kitchen area here. And we operate. We're out here on the river. Whether or not you're going to see a lot of this, I'm not sure. This light that I'm using is an Ace Beam P16 Defender. It is incredible. 1,800 lumens of awesomeness. Show Dad. You've got dragon breath.
What is that thing there?
That's a reflective sign. It's cold there, boy. So here's our setup. Quick and easy, even with my butt joining us now as the third wheel. It's still super easy. And it is 6.6 degrees at the moment. Lekker fresh. Tonight is just some chicken patties from Woolworths, some sausages, and a piece of steak from my butt. Okay, yes. Keep it safe. Watch the direction of the muzzle. Attaboy. And yeah, we've got you put on the late side. It's taken us about half an hour to get to this point.
Yep, it took us so long to.
But yeah, we're the only ones here. It's such a pleasure, man. It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
But we saw dynamite.
Cheers. Okay, it's the morning. So there's our river view. You've all seen this before. We camp here all the time. I enjoy camping alongside the river because of the noise. I can't sleep without the white noise. So now in the daytime you can see the campsite quite lekker. Here we go, dude. So here's our setup, our teardrop with the awning, and a put tent. This is really cool. There's so much condensation on the ground this morning, it's actually frightening. This is under the awning and it's soaked. We're sitting at a chilly 3.6 degrees at the moment. We were nice and cozy last night. We added recently a layer of that eggshell foam mattress topper here. It honestly didn't make that much difference, but it was worth a shot. Right, so I haven't spoken a lot about the recent changes I've made to the Ranger, and the most significant of them is the fact that I've changed my suspension. I'm now running TJM.
Yep.
After I damaged my EFS, and it was well overdue for a change. The guys from TJM stepped up, contacted me. They were keen to work with me, so we're working together now. So I'm running the XGS Roma shocks. That was a Deirdre's cuckoo that just flew past there. I'm running the Gold Series XGS coils, 90 to 110 kilos in the front, constant load. I'm also with a 500 kg constant load leaf back in the back to accommodate not only the weight in the vehicle for day trips, but also now that I'm towing a 750 kg GVM trailer, I need the additional support for the weight of the on the tow bar. So I'm happy with that. The other change that we made even more recently was I damaged the sidewall of my Mickey Thompsons, and yeah, I just decided they were getting old. About 3 years I've had them on the van, and it was time for a set of new wheels. So I reached out to JD from Tyre Life, and he hooked me up with a set of Terra Firmas in the same size, 265 7017s, and he also hooked me up with a set of dynamic wheels Steelies. I think it's a Sunraiser or something like that. Check the section here quickly. And that was done in 4H, so we've got all the traction now. We changed from a 7J to an 8J, so I've got a tiny bit of poke on the side, which has done a lot to benefit my center of gravity, which is quite lacquer. Other than that, the tires are all same size, very similar sort of hybrid style tire, 70% tar, 30% mud. So it suits our driving style, because, you know, let's face it, we are not full-time overlanders. We don't have the luxury of being able to spend 3 to 6 weeks traveling Southern Africa as much as we'd like to. I've got a 6-year-old who needs to go to school. I've got bills to pay and a life to live outside of overlanding and camping. So we are essentially weekend warriors, which means that there's times where, if you take recently for example, we will travel 400 k's of tar to drive 50 k's of gravel. So running mud terrains that are 3-ply sidewall, 18mm tread depth, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't really benefit our lifestyle currently. Previously, when we used to do a lot more of the more involved technical 4x4ing, then granted, yes, I needed something like that, hence the Mickey Thompsons. And even then, the Mickey Thompsons that I chose were also a sort of hybrid tire, but they had the much stronger sidewall than the Terra Firmas. The Terra Firmas are running a 2-ply sidewall, so the overall comfort while driving is a lot better, even at road pressures, than what the Mickey Thompsons were, because of the softer sidewall. It just means I've now got to be really cognizant of my line choice, because the tires do bulge out a bit, and even more so when I drop down to 1.5 bar. So losing a sidewall here is a genuine possibility. So these are the tires and the rims. As you can see, it's a step away from what I generally use, to the point of there's a few things I'm going to point out that 2 or 3 years ago I would have stayed away from. One, it's those. Now those get smashed and broken so easily when you wheel hard. I don't wheel hard anymore, so now I can use them. Another thing is these powder coated black rims. Once you scratch this stuff, it looks so shit. Again, I don't wheel like that anymore, so now I can have them. The tires, not bad. Relatively aggressive sidewall. The tread is not as far apart as a traditional mud. It's not as deep as a mud tire, but it is far above anything that can be called an all-terrain tire. So I'm happy with that, happy with the way it looks. I like the fact that it pokes out, you know, just less than 2 fingers. Changes the center of gravity a bit. Now the suspension setup that I've got here, I'm finally dialing it in. I run the Iron Man upper control arms. I'm aware there's a recall on these at the moment. I've fitted the XGS coils, which is what you can see here. Underneath here, you'll see the shock. I also elected to go for just the one spacer instead of both. I don't want the height. I want just a little bit of a lift. So if I had added this, you can see my CV angle. Even with this current lift, it's not dangerous yet, but I don't want to get to the point where I've got to keep changing these things constantly. As for here, I still run my flex. I must do a long-term review on that fridge. However, I'm very happy with this one. It works well. It's economic, enough space for us, does the job. Nothing negative to say about it really. I fixed the door seals myself, you'll see here. I've put rubber foam, and that now creates a perfect seal all around, so there's no more excessive condensation, which is what highlighted the fact that the seals were shit. During summer, when this is set to freeze and you're at like -10, the condensation would build up here so much that it would run down and actually pool into my fridge slide and cause rust. So I wasn't happy about that, but it is a cheaper entry-level fridge. As nice as it is, it's not going to have the thick panel insulation that ARB and Engel has, but you're also not paying 20-25k for a dual zone 75 litre, so you can't expect a Ferrari when you know, spending Toyota money. Right, so that's the end of another great weekend of camping. Just a chill drive out now. The weather was pretty good. You can see the flood damage is very evident here. The significant amount of rain fell in this area. I must say, with the suspension and softer tires now, this trailer is really easy to tow off-road. I've actually got to remind myself to slow down, because you don't feel the bumps in the car as much, and then you look in the mirror and you see the trailers holding on for dear life. But yeah, that's it. Thank you. Until the next one. Cheers.